You didn't put your name on it.
All rise. We've got the short down session. Honorable Judge Ryan Toon presiding.
Jeremiah Robert Juber, 13FQ0055B.
How do you pronounce your last name, sir? Juber. Mr. Juber, we're here today for your initial appearance in this court. For those of you who are also here for your initial appearance, please pay attention to my initial comments. No determination is going to be made today regarding your innocence or guilt, only that you understand the charges that are alleged against you. We're also going to review whether you hired an attorney to represent you in this case or whether you qualify for the public defender's office. You're entitled to what is called a preliminary hearing to determine whether there's probable cause to commit the charges alleged against you. Unless you choose to waive or give up this right, that hearing date will be scheduled. Do you understand? Mr. Juber, have you received a copy of the criminal complaint? Is the name listed in the criminal complaint correct? Yes. Do you understand the charges that are alleged against you? Have you hired an attorney to represent you in this case? Has Mr. Juber filled out the blue form?
I don't have it yet.
I think he's been appointed. Your Honor.
If you don't mind, Judge, I'm Joe with the Public Defender's Office. You asked that we review the discovery of this case and make a determination whether or not we could represent either of the defendants in this case. Having represented the victim 5 separate times, I got all of the Christensen the other day to send Randy Mike from the special fund. I understand specifically for Mr. Wood. I don't know what arrangements he made for Mr. Juber, but I assume that they're going to have a private counsel to represent. She's my attorney.
Yeah, and I got a call from Mr. Christensen as well, in the event that they had conflict or maybe a point is there in Mr. Huber's case.
And could you please state your name?
Yvette Menino, 7076.
All right, Mr. Juber, we're appointing Yvette Menino to represent you in this case. Do you understand that? We're going to set this for a preliminary hearing. Counsel, do you want that ordinary course?
Yes, Your Honor.
That would be May 8th at 10 a.m.
Actually, Your Honor, what's involved? Your Honor, it's my understanding that SPD is going to go out, and I believe that it's based on the charges. It's probably going to be open separate out as well. So not an ordinary course. My client would waive his right to a preliminary hearing within that time.
Thank you, counsel. So what date are we looking at, state counsel?
I have available May 22nd, June 5th, or June 19th.
I'm sorry, the dates before June 5th were?
May 22nd,
Was there a third one?
June 19th.
May 22nd would work, Your Honor.
Mr. Juber, we're setting your preliminary hearing date for May 22nd. It'll be at 10 a.m. Mr. Juber, at this point, we're now going to have a bail hearing. The purpose of this proceeding is to determine the amount of bail to set in your case. In order to make this determination, I'm going to ask you some questions. Are you a resident of Clark County, Nevada? Where do you live? How long have you lived there? Can you speak up?
10 years.
10 years? What's your current address there?
320 North, 200 West.
Do you have a family?
Yes.
Do they live there with you?
They live with me now.
Are you employed?
I was, yes.
Not presently?
Not now that I've been incarcerated.
What kind of work do you do?
I worked at the Springdale Rock Shop, design rock and gym.
How long did you work that job?
3-4 months.
Have you ever been arrested for any violations of criminal law prior to this alleged offense? State, do you wish to address the issue of bail?
Yes, Your Honor. Judges, bail currently set or is it set in court?
I don't show any bail being set by Judge Howell.
No bail is set before? Okay. Your Honor, I'm going to ask for a $500,000 total bail for this individual, just based on the nature of the facts of this case. He and the co-defendant, Mr. Ryan Wood, by this defendant's admission for the police reports, suffocated the him for 10 minutes and placing a plastic bag over his head. They then wrapped up the body, placed it in a wall, a hole in the wall in the basement of the house or something to that effect, Your Honor. Basically treated this victim like a piece of trash, rolling him up and putting him in a hole in the wall. I think $500,000 is appropriate given the facts of this case.
Mr. Menino, Ms. Menino, if you wish to address bail this morning.
Your Honor, I just received the discovery, so I couldn't even comment on what the district attorney just said with regards to the facts. What I'd like to do is obviously have time to meet with my client, and any request for bail I will put in writing to this court.
Mr. Juber, having considered the nature and circumstances of the offenses charged in the bill factors set forth in NRS Chapter 178, I'm setting bail in the amount of $200,000 on count 1 conspiracy to commit murder, count 2 murder at $1 million, count 3 grand larceny $10,000, count 4 possession of a stolen automobile $10,000. In the event you wish to post surety in lieu of cash, the surety amount will be 10 times the cash amount I've set. If you post bail, I'm placing the following conditions on your release: no contact with any victims, witnesses, or families of the victims or witnesses. You're not to possess any weapons, no possession or use of drug or alcohol. You'll be subject to random testing if you post bail. No criminal activity, no citations or arrests. Any additional restrictions that the state would recommend at this time?
Your Honor.
Do you understand, Mr. Juber? Does Mr. Juber have a second case?
Yes, it did. This is case number 13FQ00566. We do not have a complaint on this case.
And I was unaware of that.
I'm not aware of that.
He was arrested under that case number. And I can make you copies if you'd like.
Please.
All right, let's move on to the next case.
We'll pass these to when we trail for a break. Would that be okay?
That'd be fine, thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.